Good morning. Welcome to the lab. I'm Angelique. This is Yoga Laboratory. I do a live session every Monday and Wednesday morning at 8:30 Eastern Time. And the Yoga Laboratory is sort of mini tutorials, mini workshops on varying topics that can support your yoga practice, particularly while we're all doing our work at home these days and probably alone, right? So today's lab session is going to be focused on Surya Namaskar, the sun salutations. In the Ashtanga yoga practice, which is what I teach, the asana practice begins with the Surya Namaskar, version A and version B. And there's minimal stretches that are sort of like acceptable to do before the Surya Namaskar practice. The Surya Namaskar practice is intended to wake up the body and warm it up and get it ready energetically, physically, for the asana. So the only, that I've been told in the years that I've been practicing, the only like sort of pre-stretch that's acceptable before Surya Namaskar is Virasana, right? Knees together, feet apart. It can help to wake up and open up the knees before beginning to move into the sun salutation sequence. That being said, you know your body, you know what you need to get into a position where you feel like you can even begin the Surya Namaskar. Certainly with people who are new to yoga and new to the vinyasa flow approach and new to Ashtanga, or those that have restricted movement for whatever reason, illness or injury, I often begin classes with some pre-stretches. So all things neutral, begin right with Surya Namaskar. If you need it for yourself, for your body, and you know that, pre-stretches can be very helpful to get you ready for that dynamic movement. Because Surya Namaskar is very dynamic. It's very sort of demanding in and of itself. In fact, my teacher, Sri Arsharat Joyce, and his grandfather, Sri K. Patabi Joyce, used to always say that, a Surya Namaskar is a complete practice. So it is intended to sort of encompass everything. It connects you to your breath, right? Because as a vinyasa sequence, the breath and the movement are synchronized. So it helps to connect you to the fullness of your breath, to the rhythm of your breath. It helps you to establish a pace to your breath. So it establishes that base layer. In a vinyasa style, Ashtanga especially, breath is the first layer that we connect to, and we add in asana over the top of that. So Surya Namaskar is a way to establish that base breath. Surya Namaskar also starts, to help pump blood through the body. It helps to encourage movement in the circulatory system. We're alternately opening and closing the body in our sun salutation. So this helps to sort of pump blood through. The breathing also increases the oxygenation of the blood, which gets then oxygen throughout the body into all the muscles and into your cells. Again, in preparation for your asana practice. I don't know if you can hear, I'm competing with a dog today. That opening and closing of the torso as well awakens the nervous system, because all of that is happening along the spinal column, right? And we're bringing our head below our heart and bringing it back above our heart and bringing it below and back above. And that helps to stimulate the nervous system, the brain, wakes us up, makes us connected, right? And it addresses the movements of Surya Namaskar, address the primary, sort of the main joints, as I've already mentioned, along the spine. We're accessing forward folds in the vertebrae and back bends, right? We're working into the shoulders, up dog, down dog, reaching up, exhale forward, right? We're loosening up, juicing up, warming up the shoulder joints. Same with the hips. The hips are opening and closing, flexing and extending, alternatively throughout the practice, the sun salutation sequence. And then further challenging that when you get to B and you're doing Utkatasana and Virabhadrasana, it's further challenging the positions of the hips to wake them up. And as is sort of my philosophy on all asana practice, is that everything is pointing towards the bandhas. So of course, Surya Namaskar is bringing our awareness and our attention to our bandhas, activating and strengthening those supports for our asana practice. So the movement of Surya Namaskar help to tune us in to Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, right? So first of all, when we're standing in Samastitihi, we're connecting to Mula Bandha and establishing foundation and grounding. And as we move through the forward folds and openings, we're challenging the use of Uddiyana Bandha. Trini position, Trini meaning three, third position is a connection to Uddiyana Bandha. It's a way to, through Mula, right? You can't find Uddiyana without Mula. But when you bring your hands to the floor and you do that half lift, you're connecting into the earth through your hands. Another Mula Bandha access point, and allowing the lifting energy to happen in the low belly in preparation for the jump back for Chaturanga Dandasana. And Chaturanga Dandasana further connects you to the strengthening aspect of Mula and Uddiyana in support of then upward dog. How do the bandhas support your back bend, right? All of the foundational energy, information that you need for any complicated practice, any complicated asana, is present in the work that you do in Surya Namaskar. I have found many, many times throughout the years that as I am learning new postures or new movement patterns, because I'm progressing through the asana sequence, it's incredibly helpful and necessary to go back to the Surya Namaskar to gain more foundational information. It's all in there, right? And the more you know, the more you learn is already present in the Surya Namaskar. The patterns are established there. The strengths and openings are established in that initial sequence. So don't be afraid to relearn your Surya Namaskar, your Chaturangas. How do you transition into up dog? What does up dog feel like? How are you engaging, right? All of that information in Surya Namaskar supports the work that you're doing later in more and more complex and challenging postures. So use it, go back, relearn. It's okay. It doesn't mean you've lost something or you were doing it wrong all along. It means that now you're ready to integrate even more depth of information, more subtleties of information. Your body is ready to do it in a new way, right? And it needs to do it in a new way to support these more challenging things that you're asking your body to do in your practice. That's normal. That's the way that it goes. This is that the way that yoga is never ending in the information that it provides. You never know everything you need to know. There's always more. There's always deeper to go. Let's see. So full practice can absolutely be 8A and 8B. If you have a short amount of time to get on your mat, just do your Surya Namaskar, 8A, 8B, and then do some of your finishing postures, even if it's just the 3 lotus poses at the end. On Wednesday, we're going to go into the finishing postures, particularly the inversion sequence. These 2 bookends, right? Ashtanga always begins with Surya Namaskar and it always ends with the inversions. And it's what's in the middle that changes based on which practice you're doing. So this morning, Surya Namaskar. Wednesday, we're going to talk about the inversions. So use your Surya Namaskar as a way to prepare your body for your practice, as a way to connect to breath, as a way to start the circulation of the blood more thoroughly, oxygenation of the body through that circulation, opening up and waking up the nervous system, waking up the brain, and connecting to body patterns that are foundational to the rest of your practice. There is, some of you may be aware that there is what, I don't know if it's technically called this, but it's what I've always called it, the classical version of sun salutations. It's what's been used in Hatha Yoga, and it came before the Ashtanga version. And it's a great sequence to learn. So if you have an opportunity to learn that, check in with that, and get that information integrated into your body as a short practice, right? Again, if you only have a little bit of time, the classical version of sun salutations, the hatha version, also very beneficial. This is the one that uses the knees, chest, chin version of lowering instead of chaturanga, and uses cobra instead of up dog, and it uses horse pose or equestrian pose instead of the warrior poses, but it accesses the same sort of patterning in the body. So I don't know why my screen is so dark, y'all. I'm sorry about that. So do some research. Look into what the classical version of sun salutations is. Ashtanga developed out of that. That's my belief. That's how I understand it anyway. I would love to hear if any of you have more information about the classical style of sun salutations, but explore it. It's another beneficial sequence to have in your toolbox, right? But the sun salutations traditionally are, as they say, a salute to the sun. It's honoring the sun as a life force energy, as vitality. So in that way, it's a wonderful way to begin your practice, to begin your day, right? To offer thanks and gratitude to the sun and what it provides for us on this planet. It is life force energy. And as we move up and down, right, the first movement is reaching up to the sun, and we draw that energy all the way through our body to the feet, right? Taking the sun to the earth. Through our bodies, we're connecting to that energy, offering gratitude, honoring it, right? It's an honoring of the sun. So remember that as well when you go through your sun salutations. Thank you for joining me. That's all that I have in this quick little bit. Be mindful of your practice. Be mindful of what the benefits and the intentions of the sun salutation practice are for your asana, for your yoga overall. And I will see you Wednesday with our inversions and finishing sequence. We'll talk about that. Have a good day. Be well. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. See you Wednesday.